Good evening. It's about 9:45. I'm sitting out here in the storage tarp canopy, having a cup of coffee. Just got done visiting my wife, Donna. Spent 3.5, 4 hours with her. She's doing remarkably well, which makes me happy. I got the generator going, so I got electricity going. Just gonna have a quick smoke. And yes, I'm not gonna lie to you, the good stuff. A friend of mine stopped by just a few minutes ago, and I'm sorry, folks, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Being out here and doing the work I'm doing and the stress I'm under, I found it helps take the edge off. This afternoon, I drank some vodka. Didn't get drunk, obviously, but just taking the edge off. I'm trying to deal with everything that's going on all at once, and it's not easy. I'll be with you momentarily. Perfect every time. You could say that has a little bit of practice to it. Anyways, to get on the subject of what this video is about, I got a lot of work that I gotta really do, and the only way I'm gonna be able to do this work is to get down to it and do it. I've been doing a lot of it today, battling thunderstorms and work. It's wearing on me, to be honest with you. Work an hour and hide out in the tender in here for an hour and a half till the rain and thunder and lightning stops. Just out back of this canopy, lightning struck a pine tree, blew a branch all to hell, and that's only 20 feet away from here. So that gives you an example of what I'm battling. I'm right in the middle of a bunch of very tall trees, and again, where does lightning strike? The tallest object. So hopefully it'll maintain hitting the trees and not me. If it hits that 10, I'm toast. Literally. If it hits this, I'm toast. I got a lot of tools in here, a lot of metal, so that's not helping matters. But anyways, get off that. I have 3 or 4 plans that I got for this week, this coming week, and it's supposed to be real nice this weekend, so I can get those plans in motion. But starting Monday morning, Monday afternoon, I can put them to work. I got some friends that are going to help me on some of the hard work in here. I need to put a small roadway in here, which is right directly behind me, which goes down a little slope and then around this corner. I put a roadway in here so we can get more tools and supplies up here. There's going to be a lot of 2x4s, 4x8s, 8x10s. Those are being donated by some friends of mine. I got a person that has a gravel pit, private gravel pit, so he's going to give me a 16-yard dump truck full of gravel, maybe more. It's going to help spread it around to even it up a little bit. I got a friend that has a small portable air compressor that he can put up for collateral for me to get some jackhammers in here and just start grinding down these rocks. There's a lot of rocks in here, a lot of big boulders. Some of these boulders go down in the ground is estimated 20, 30 feet. They're just monstrous rocks out of a ledge. So this whole area basically sitting on top of a ledge. So I have a lot of work I got to do. Can I do it in 1 year? Absolutely not. I'm not going to kid myself or anybody else. It's going to take 2 years or more to get everything lined up. Why am I rocking? Because my back is killing me. I was being an idiot today, and I was pulling on a branch, a big branch, probably about that round, pine branch. And when it snapped, I went on my back and landed on the stump. So, being an idiot, I caused my own problems. What do I want to talk about now? A lot. I have a lot I want to talk about. But getting it's getting chilly in here. But getting it so that it makes sense to you guys is probably going to be the hardest part. So far in my videos, you see me drinking, you see smoking. I'm not getting back into that lifestyle. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what I am trying to do is just take the edge off so I can start relaxing a little bit. I haven't relaxed in about a month, literally. It's just round the clock trying to beat time. And I realized earlier I can't beat the time, but I can try to make better use of it. I have a lot of tools here. Chainsaw, of course the generator, which is running now, which is powering this. That's all fine, but it's not cheap. You have to have fuel and oil to run it. You have to maintain them. So I found myself buying 5 gallons of fuel today, and that's $3.89 a gallon. So as you can see, that's a $20 bill gone. It's a $20 bill I could have used for food, but I need electricity because I need heat. You may not think it, but inside that tent at nighttime during a rainstorm, it gets extremely damp and very cold. The cold air is from the rain just penetrating into the ground that circulates everywhere. What am I going to do this winter? I don't know. I don't know if I'm actually going to live on this property or just maintain it throughout the winter. I don't know yet. It depends on a lot of things, whether I can get a 20 by 20 building put up in time, get it properly insulated. I'm not going to kid myself. You cannot live in a tent in the middle of the winter time. You can't do that. When it gets 20, 30, 40 below zero and you're in a tent, chances of you going to sleep at night and waking up in the morning are almost zero. It's not something I'm looking to do. Do I think that I could survive in the tent this winter time? Honestly, no. No, I don't. But what I do know is if I get a 20 by 20 put up, get it insulated, the generator plus the space heater that I have would be plenty to keep it warm comfortably. But I was thinking of getting a real small potbelly stove, they call them. They're probably about that wide. They probably stand about 2 feet tall, and they burn 10-inch to 12-inch sticks of wood. They run between $130 to $170. It's not that bad. I have a lot of determination to get this done before late September. And the reason I say that is because, like I just said, I can't live in a tent. And where I have a cat, Bambi, that is definitely not part of the picture. I cannot legally keep her in a tent in the wintertime, that kind of cold. That's actually animal abuse. For those that don't know that, that is classified, at least in the state of Maine, as criminal animal abuse. You cannot subject any animal to that kind of treatment, unless obviously they're naturally wild, they're outside. And I wouldn't do that anyways. I wouldn't subject her to that. She's part of the family. She is family. Anyways, I'm not going to keep rambling on. I just want to let you guys know that these videos are probably going to slow down quite a bit. I have serious work I have to do, and time is getting very short. I don't know if you heard that. That's thunder. So again, like I said, battling thunderstorms. Yeah, there's lightning. It's a never-ending battle in the state of Maine. I mean, you have a few weeks of good weather throughout the summer, and the rest of it is rain, wind, and cold. Something just got struck. I don't know if you heard that, huh? And that scares me. I'm not going to lie to you about it. This scares me around here. Lightning seems to be striking this area quite often the past week. It's only a matter of time, and I can see it happening already. It's only a matter of time before one of these trees gets struck and come down. If it comes down on top of that tent, and I'm in there, I'm dead. If it comes down on top of this, and I'm in here, I'm dead. Or if it strikes me, or anywhere within a 50-foot radius of this tent, and travels to the ground, I'm toast. That scares the hell out of me. But when I get the building put up, 20 by 20, I'll put grounders on it, cables that go from the building right into the ground, and leaders that go off 8-10 feet away. That'll ground it so if lightning strikes it, it just dissipates. But until then, I have to worry about it. As I look out this little opening here, I see the lightning. It's getting quite bad. Thing is, I'm not afraid of thunderstorms, obviously, but I am afraid of lightning. I'm not scared of lightning as it sounds, but I'm afraid of lightning that being amidst a bunch of tall trees and metal tools, it's only a matter of time. And I can see that coming already. Thunder's getting closer. You guys are probably getting sick of watching my videos, saying, "Here's Al, why don't you just shut up a while, give it a break?" Yeah, I think you're probably right. I probably should. But what you guys don't realize is this is actually part of therapy for myself. It helps me deal with the crap that happened to me when I was younger and throughout my life. Most of it, I'll be honest with you, was caused by me. Some already know I grew up an alcoholic, a drug addict, and I grew up on the streets. I was raised in New York, and I lived in the big city. I never thought I'd come to a small hick town like Bangor, Maine. I mean, it's like 200,000 people live here. 200,000 people fit in my neighborhood in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a small-ass city, but anyways, I just dealing with the shit that's happened to me. And in here, it's never going to go away, but finding ways to deal with it, you know. And I'll give you a prime example. I was thrown away as a kid. You know, my mother and father hated me. They didn't actually hate me, but they had their own problems, and it just escalated where I became the punching bag. And the punching bag that I became took a great many hits. And I got thrown away because I was different. I was quiet as a kid. I didn't want to be bothered by people. I didn't want to bother people, that's all. I loved school. That was the whole thing. I mean, Christ, I begged to stay at school, partly because I didn't want any more beatings at home, but mostly because I wanted the knowledge. I wanted to learn. But I got a hell of a wake-up call because the knowledge and the learning I got came from the streets. And that's why I can do this, and it doesn't really faze me that much, because I lived this. I lived this most of my life. I lived on the streets. There were times where I had a very nice place. I had many opportunities passed to me, literally just passed to me, and I turned them down for stupidity. There was a man in Bar Harbor, Maine, who lived on Norway Drive, Bar Harbor. His name was Roy Farnsworth, Leroy Farnsworth. His wife, Helen, ran a laundromat in Bar Harbor. Roy Farnsworth, or Leroy, was a woodsman. He worked in the woods all of his life. When I came to Maine, when I was a little bit younger, he hired me to work with him with chainsaws, skidders, wood trucks, and he taught me how to drive trucks. That man taught me lessons that I never would have learned anyplace else, not even on the streets. He taught me that there are no free rides in life, that there are no ways of earning a living unless you put your little elbows to work. He always used to tell me the same story, and I got sick of it after a while, but he always told me the same stories about how when he was a kid, and you know how this goes, but in his case it was true because I checked it. He started off with 3 horses, a homemade sled, and hand saws, crosscut buck saws. I got a small one. This is a miniature. Imagine this being 8 feet long, having 715 teeth, one man on one end, one man on the other, and you're constantly doing this all day, cutting huge round trees, and then hoisting them with what's called cant dogs or come-alongs onto sleds, hooking up the horses, then hauling them out of the woods, sometimes up to a mile out of the woods, in snow and ice, freezing water, mud. That's how that man lived. And he taught me that where he was today, well, back then, because he had his own trucks, he had his own skidders, he had his own crew, he had his own chainsaws, he had everything. He taught me that if I wanted that, those little elbows had to get into the job. And this had to match what's in here. I couldn't go that far. I was too busy doing this, drinking it down. I was too busy doing this, smoking it up. And I ended up traveling. What he did teach me, I put to use. I went to truck stops in Tampa, Florida. I went to Cocorans truck stop, 76 Unocal on Highway 301 in Tampa, just a quarter mile from Florida State Fairgrounds. I went to Toledo, Ohio with the Toledo 5 truck stop. I went to Buzzy's across from the Maine-New Hampshire border in Kittery, Maine, just before you get to Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I worked there as a dishwasher. I went to Dysart's, Colebrook Road in Maine, right here, Bangor, Herman. I drove for them for a long time. Contracts locally, within state. Just recently, I picked up a couple jobs with them, doing dishwashing again. So the skills that Leroy taught me, I put to use, but I should have done it 30 years ago. You know, I was 17, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I did. But that's hindsight, and hindsight is a very valuable tool that I have. I began to realize that looking back is helping me now, because I see the mistakes I made then, I see the opportunities that were handed to me, and I walked away from them. It's something I have to live with all my life now, because as a result of me being ignorant, I'm living in the woods. But oh, and another thing, if you're going to smoke weed, don't buy top papers. They're garbage, you got to keep lighting them. Stick with zigs. Just call me the zigzag man. I'm just joking, by the way. But seriously, stick with zigs. Alright, this video is probably, I don't know what, 20 minutes long by now. So I'll probably wrap this up and let you all know that just out of curiosity, I'm going to put Leroy Farnsworth's advice to work. Of course, this is many years after he died. And by the way, he smoked all of his life and he didn't die of cancer. He died of diabetes. So let that be a little indicator to you that it's not always these old cigarettes and joints that will kill a person. He smoked for 40 some odd years. 3 packs a day, guaranteed. Never died of cancer. Died of diabetes. Catch you all later.